Now you appeared for UPSC anytime or?
No, sir. First time I will be doing.
So did you go through that what I gave prelims handbook?
Sir, yesterday I had what do I say? Sinusitis. So there is a change in Bangalore weather, so I was not able to. So I attended the Google Meet that you had yesterday, though. So I'll go to the handbook today.
Okay, that handbooks tell you, or that is not my book, actually it's written by my student. So what instructions I gave to follow for UPSC, that is what is consolidated and then put there.
Okay.
So if you are very serious about UPSC, what is to be done is look from syllabus 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th and 12th class.
Yes, sir.
If this syllabus is understood and perfectly, not the mark wise, but the knowledge wise.
Okay.
It look very simple, but you have to get deep into the each and every word what is used there.
Got it.
See, for example, gravity. People know what is gravity, but look at the dictionary meaning, understand the concept. What does it mean? Go into the conceptual part and little bit of logical reasoning, analytical skill, and such things.
Got it.
See, the logical reasoning, analytical skill, mathematical ability, data analysis, interpretation, data interpretation, all that is how do you transfer what you read into a equation? Right?
Yes, sir.
See, a train is running on a platform with this speed and somebody is standing. It's an English sentence.
Correct.
How do you convert that into equations? Why these are conducted in UPSC is because you have big files which has got huge data.
Got it.
Will you be able to convert it into a problem and solve it? See, that's the logic.
Got it.
So your idea is you have a big book. How concisely you will put it into a small. So that's what is Prezi writing. A minister will not be able to read the whole file.
Got it.
He has to make a decision.
Got it.
So it is the secretary's job to create a note out of the big files. The history may be 40 years, 50 years history. So this ability is what is being tested there.
Got it.
If you understand this logic and look at everything around you, right? It is not how much you know. It is how are you going to put this knowledge very precisely.
Got it.
If you know this, civil service is very simple.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
So how is it going to be tested in your examination? You may in civil service assume that you opt for IAS, you may work in a fisheries department. Tomorrow it may be a geography department, revenue department. Maybe another day you will be on transport. Maybe you have to follow somebody who is a minister and go abroad, and he may ask you some questions and you cannot Google and then find out an answer. So you must know what India is. So knowing India is more important.
Right.
So some of my civil service aspirants, all of them I put together to write about raising of India by the race of India. Understand the problems of India and identify what are the solutions. A IAS is never to criticize India and criticize government.
Right.
So if you have a that sort of a thought, you can never pass examination.
Got it.
That is why most of the people, though they are bright, they lose because around the world there are a lot of criticism. So if you keep on listening to news, the whole thing becomes useless for you because the trend becomes negative.
Got it.
So even if you pass examination in the interview, they will fail.
Got it.
It is not creating problems,
Right.
mega sizing the problem what is required. When somebody comes to you with a problem, you have to give solutions.
Right.
Don't keep on not talking about past history and all that. So solution is important. Whether you have that ability is what is being tested.
Got it.
Right. So this concept is what is precisely what you should have in your mind while going through the syllabus. Don't think that, oh, why should I learn Jahangir? Why should I learn Akbar? No, it is to know India.
Right.
If you know India, we don't know which part of India you are going to be tomorrow posted. So you must know the whole India, and then you must know how the problems aroused in India. You must know the politics. You must know the geography. Everything should be understood.
Right.
And up to 10th class, it's a general knowledge.
Right.
And that general knowledge is what is being tested. So you must have studied that. Maybe you are now 29 years. That means you have studied this 12 years back.
Right.
You are going back and then reading it.
Right.
So it may not take much time. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th class syllabus can be finished maybe in 3 months, 4 months time.
Right.
But that 4 months is not finishing reading, studying as you have done in the classrooms in the schools. It is to understand the concept and why are you reading it, why are you learning it. And parallelly, newspaper reading, when I used to be young, maybe younger than you at your age, 22 and all that. My brother was at Indian Forest Service. He retired as Chief of Kerala Forest. So I had a passion for civil service. So what I used to do is I used to take a newspaper and write precise one paragraph of each day. The whole newspaper, the main news, one paragraph.
Lovely.
That is the precise thing which I used to write. But then those days there was an employment news, which used to come every week and then say what last week happened. I used to match with that and then see how good I am in writing precise.
Okay.
Understood? So those days there was no internet, no. So this is how I tested my knowledge of making a comprehension.
Lovely, sir. Lovely.
Understood? So, that used to match. It was the thrilling experience, Oh, I know how to write a precise thing about the world. So, such a thing, if you continuously do for a month, probably you will be able to predict what is going to happen tomorrow.
Wow.
What is going to come in the newspaper tomorrow. See, probably it may be almost 3-4 years I have not seen a newspaper also in my life.
Wow.
Okay. But I speak on many of the topics which is coming because one news headlines, maybe evening sometime, I invest my time on internet. That's good enough. Then
So you know the foundations of basically.
I know the foundation, so I know what is going to happen, right? And then discussion matters. So when we discuss with the people, it's as good as reading thousands of books.
Right.
So I invest some time on that. Right. So what could assume you are very serious? It is not the institute where you study. It is not the person who mentor you matters. It matters who are the people around you with whom you can discuss this learning, preparation style, ask questions, so that your communication is improved. You will look at what others are looking at and how they are improving. So you need to create a good group.
Got it.
So if at all you want very serious, what can be done is, there are a lot of people preparing. You must make a small group of people and then see that, how, yes, can we discuss together. That's right. Then, probably if you want me around that will help you to coordinate and then suggest small corrections or others.
Got it.
And all the books, NCERT books can be downloaded from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th and 12th.
Yes,
Okay. That maths, physics, chemistry, biology, everything. It is not that problem solving maths, problem solving chemistry. It's the concept what is important.
Right.
That is what is required.
Right. Yes, sir. So it's very interesting that you told me about what do I say, learning the foundations, because I'm someone, as I said, who's interested in meditation. I was so happy when I saw you in the room yesterday, in that meeting that we had yesterday. Because no matter what it is, so I'm someone who likes marketing, who likes communication, those kind of things when it comes to my nature of doing things. And coming from the entrepreneurial background, again, we see things in a 360-degree angle. We cannot just see that, okay, I'm good at accounting, so okay, let me be that. We have to do end-to-end. So with that said, and that too, you have to approach it from the fundamentals. Now, tomorrow you move from this business to the next business. You cannot say that, hey, that's not my line of business. It doesn't work like that. You have to be prepared to do that. So, in that way, so again, as I said, so today will be day 70, 78, 79 today, I think, where I'm sitting with people every single day. There's an app called Clubhouse, which is only voice. So I organize this meditation session, half an hour every day at 10:30 p.m. Regardless, there is no mantra chanting, there is nothing. All you have to do is focus on your breath. So I like simplicity. So when you said, focusing on the basics is very important. I bought the books. And when it comes to, I think, social sciences, I've got the books. And apart from that, there are other books on math. I did ICSE, so I got class 7 ICSE book as well, class 6 or 7. So for me, it's about the love of learning. So, like, if, it's not that, it's not about titles for me. So tomorrow, say, I don't make it, right? Like, I just maybe don't have the ability or the skill, even if I put in the hard work. For me, that's all right, because as long as I look at a book and I feel mesmerized by it, I'll be like, oh, this is good. That's God for me, right? And what I have started doing now is, with all these things that I like, I want to do it in a systematic manner. And I don't feel that I'm told or whatever. When it comes, I find there are 3 things in us: mind, body, and soul. Now, if I'm going to only be about soul, that's wrong. If I'm only going to be about mind, it's going to be wrong. It's only about body, it's going to be wrong. So I want to make sure that I cultivate on all 3 aspects. And for that, I'm taking steps. For the body aspect, my goal is, in the longer run, right, to do a triathlon, which is a combination of running, swimming, and cycling, which is the test of your entire body. And with the mind, a lot of technologies that are coming up. I come from the commerce background. So if you tell me about marketing, I think no matter how much changes in this world in terms of platforms from say physical to digital now, right? At the end of the day, it is making sure that you're communicating the audience a particular message. Now, what medium you use, it's up to you. You can have all the mediums at your disposal. You can be a rich person's kid with all the abilities, like with all the resources, but you can still screw up very big time because you don't know what message you need to send. So in that way, that's the mind aspect. I want to be able to say tomorrow, I am able to get into, say, civil services. What I see is that for some people, it's that they pass the civil service exam, they become IAS. God's grace, that's amazing. But for me, that's the starting stage to do something bigger in life. It's like to finish college to get a job, but getting a job is not the great thing. I mean, I'm not saying it's a wrong thing or a bad thing, but after you get the job, what do you do finally when you have the resources? So these are my thoughts. And for me, for that matter, now I went to Kerala, Varkala, I was in December. So I went to this Swami Padmanabham temple, right? And for other people, I don't know why they were not, right? But I was amazed to see that a temple put together both Tirupati and Vatican, it is richer than that. Although the walls have not been opened, and this was just discovered recently. Imagine, for that matter, there are temples all across India, right? And how much more wealth we have. It's not about the wealth. I'm just saying, to create wealth, you need that mind in the first. Imagine the ingenuity. Imagine the skill that we would have had. And as you said again, it's a very important point that the political sphere changes. Yesterday there was a left-leaning government. Today there's a right-leaning government. Tomorrow there'll be a centrist government. But for a bureaucrat, for a UPSC aspirant, for a possible IAS, you should never get into the. Rather, you should be like, okay, there's a problem to solve. What can I do? So this is my thoughts. That is what I want to communicate, and I'm very confident about it. I want to ask you, since you were talking about Krishna yesterday, we were talking about Indian epics, right? The figures that there are. I'm deeply interested in that, and I've bought a few books which I want to really make a study of. So with all this said, so I come from a big family, right? And for us, it is said that this is all the material world, and we should not partake in it because there is violence and conflict, right? But I would rather want to know the truth for it. I don't want to read a book and just finish off with my conclusion, right? I think that's stupidity. So, what is your thought when they say that it is said in our? I'm not sure, but I've come across this that we should not worship any god which has say weapon carrying, right? But what I'm saying is, to live in this material plane, you have to safeguard your health as well. You cannot submit to people just like that, right? So that just makes logical sense. So what is your thought on that?
See, you can, I don't know whether how many of my videos you have seen. You spoke from meditation to the God concept. You just type in DrTPS meditation.
Okay. TPS.
Yeah, I don't believe in the word meditation itself. That's a Western English word. I attend meditation, I follow meditation, I am into meditation. That itself is not in tandem with my. I am from a Himalayan tradition meditation.
Sir, one second. You said your YouTube, what is it? TPS meditation.
DrTPS is my name.
Okay.
No, sir, I am DrTPS. I don't like. If you have seen 2 videos, then you will know. I must have told many people don't call me sir. Okay. Because I am not a British titled sir.
Okay.
So, sir is a title given by Britishers. I don't.
Yes.
I don't originally hold that, right?
Right.
And I am not a sir who is serving in a government to give you a certificate, for which you will have to call them sir many times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I am not sir. I am DrTPS.
Okay.
I am from one of the greatest masters of Samadhi in India.
Wow.
Samadhi is not meditation. By mistake, people translated, because every modern so-called stupid meditators are from Western marketed fellows.
Right.
So those Western marketed fellows don't understand the deep-rooted. They can't even chant one sloka. They can only blah 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 the dictionary English which came from either Britain or America. Right.
Right.
We are talking about Eastern so-called Samadhi. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. In that Samadhi is like a taste of water which I cannot teach you. You have to feel yourself.
Right.
And that taste keeps varying. Now I am talking to you, I am in a meditation. For me, meditation is not something different from what I am doing every moment.
Right.
Eating is a meditation, driving is a meditation, teaching is a meditation, reading is a meditation. So if somebody says I meditate from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I have a club of people, I have got a group of people, 10,000 people join together in this meditation. See, meditation is going inside. Then whether there are 10,000 or nobody around you doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So you understood my concept of. So when somebody talks about I am into meditation for last 10 years with the guru and all that, you are not with anybody is what is Samadhi.
Right.
So how can you be with somebody else? I went along with my wife for that is immaterial, right? So there itself, this fellow did not understood at all. Got it? Rarely you will see somebody very frankly talking like this, because I am from that tradition. See, you cannot have a PG student going and sitting in LKG and listening to an LKG song. I will listen, but I will enjoy that singing. That's it. If there is a mistake also, I may not correct it. That's how I leave people. But I keep making this mention most of the time.
Right, right.
Now, what is God concept? God, DrTPS. You type in and you will see some dialogue from me, how I interpret God, right? How I interpret the concept of Achara, Anushtana, which we have. Because I am from a very, very authentic, spiritual, Vedic master.
So may I know the master?
My Himalayan tradition is from Swami Rama.
Sir, I have read his book, sir. I was just going to ask you. I have read
living with the Himalayan masters, but I couldn't see him when he was alive, but I read about him. But then, by the time I finished reading that book, Swami Vedabharati contacted me. So actually his next disciple is Swami Vedabharati, who contacted me, that I have not contacted him. If I have not read Swami Rama, I would have told, who are you? Because I read him, he said Himalayan tradition, I am Rama's disciple. Immediately I could connect. So it's not that you hunt for somebody, you get somebody from somewhere. That is what I believe. So I had a very, very small interaction, but I had a very beautiful interaction with him. So if you look at DrTPS meditate, still I gave the word meditate because that only will be captured by people. Even if I write Samadhi, it will not go. If I write breathing, it will not go. So it is nothing called Samadhi. It is nothing called meditation. It's only breathing practice.
Right.
You realize the flow of breathing. Probably that is required, like a Sarigama Padanisa is required for a music practitioner. alphabets practice of writing is required when you wanted to, but when you are going to write poetry, you don't write alphabets again in your life, right?
Right.
So it's all the starting beginning. So I don't meditate, I don't do yoga, I don't do any physical exercise, but still I am fit. For last 30 years I must not have even.
You attain that state of mind is what I
See,
understand.
that is because it's all related. It is not that you have to control something to control the other thing. It just happens, right? That's one. The second one is on the concept of God. See, Bharatiya Shastram, there is nothing called God. It is only Sankalpa. Sankalpa means imagination.
Okay.
All the mythology, all the Puranas, what we read or what we understand is only a mythology. It's only a Purana, which is only a story. There is some story. I don't know whether you have seen Peter Brook's Mahabharata.
No, sir.
Yeah, you see that movie, it says Peter Brook's Mahabharata is another movie. Okay, so that movie will tell you how he conceived God, how he conceived the costumes of God, because it's a movie.
Okay.
And it is not Ramananda Saga's Krishna who will see in that.
Okay.
Right. And similarly, when you discuss about God, each person, if he's a tribal who has not seen the picture drawn by Ravi Verma, for him, Devi is not with ornaments. Devi is not with sari. His concept is what is God for him. But you can't say that he is wrong and I am right. So all the pictures what you see as God is only Ravi Verma's imagination. Before that, there is no picture for goddess. Right. So the Sankalpa is entirely different from the concept. The concept is to be conveyed to somebody. I need a story to be created. That is how it is. So Veda has got knowledge. So we are not. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in rituals, but I believe in the basic Vedic concept of Sanatana Dharma,
Got it.
which is the practice of life which everybody is supposed to be consciously living to understand what is that role which I have to play.
Right.
Got it. So as you said, I love you because you have to attempt, because government stipulates a rule that only this year, maybe 2 more years you have to get a trial, and then you get it or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
How
So,
to make your life impactful, how to make your image clear for this society, how do you serve society, it's a different concept. I also studied in Bangalore. Kannada Bharathan anakku chinnagi na odiradu Bangalore. Okay. So I studied. So my PhD is from Bangalore University, Central College.
Oh, lovely, sir.
Okay. But I hardly had any sessions in Bangalore. Just maybe very few. Maybe they are for marketing, for insurance companies and all that. I am also a management professor. So I teach all that what you learn in your commerce. My first student was on bookkeeping and accountancy,
Okay.
which I have never studied in my life, but I taught that. Okay. So you don't have to study, but you can still teach, because we learn together. It's not that I drive on this route because I have driven on that route. I know driving, therefore I can drive on any route.
Right. Right.
You understood? So that is what I believe. I don't need to know cooking of a very special item, but I am a cook. Therefore, looking at the item, tasting it, I will know what are the ingredients, I can make it in the same style.
Right.
So that's how it should be. So you should have, it is not that solving problem is because I solved that earlier. So I don't believe in experience. I believe in expertise.
Right.
And expertise is not doing it many times. Expertise is in it. How do you analyze that problem to get a solution?
Right.
So I don't believe. I could have said you call me. But I don't believe. Unless I see you, unless I get an introduction from you. So I am recording it. I am recording it on audio. I am also recording it on a screengram. If you permit, I will post it on YouTube.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Please go.
And you can see UPSC, DrTPS. You will see a lot of people who discuss with me how to read a newspaper. I will also teach how to read a newspaper.
Okay.
So you read a newspaper to grab only the maybe national page, international page. Don't read even the first page. That is the marketing.
Right.
That has no news value. except few newspapers don't even have news values in the front page. But editorial, international news page and national news page. If you can pick up something and understand that, and then you think that we need to discuss, you can look at DrTPS newspaper reading.
Okay.
Newspaper discussions. UPSC, there is a playlist, you can look at it. This also will go into UPSC, that playlist only. It's only to help people to understand how to prepare for civil service. If you are a social being and you believe that any knowledge what we give is going to help some other person who is preparing for UPSC, he will get some knowledge, that's it. The concept of understanding a subject should be from a deep perspective. To understand the problem, to solve it. It is not to tell about the problem to some XYZ. As long as you are clear about that, I think it becomes very clear for you.
Got it, sir.
Yeah, you should have an objective and scope in which what you are doing and why are you doing it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Since I think it was just fateful that I had to attend the meeting yesterday and you had to share the link with me, because otherwise I would not know who you are as a person. Until when I saw you yesterday in that meet, I wouldn't know who you are. So as I said, right, now one of the things that makes me, so people do UPSC for all sorts of things, for say status, for image, for I don't know, for multiple reasons, right? But so ultimately I see it as an education, right, which is required for implementation tomorrow, right? That is what I see it for. And again, this is an overall sort of education, and this is what I cannot adapt with my, say, friends or whatever, because they only get into narrow stuff. They're like, okay, they're in that field, that is their entire life. Whereas I'm like, let me take whatever there is up for learning in life and let me just grasp it. So with that said, yesterday, since I saw your, the Google Meet that you had, so what I have also been doing is that, again, I'm like a circular thinker, not in one particular field. I like to learn from everything, and it's interdisciplinary. You can't write, if you have the vision, then you can take from one to the other and apply it as well. As you told, you have not driven on that road, but you know driving, so you can drive on that. In the same manner, now I just want to tell you about my meditation experience. As you told, right, it's the Western marketing that we call it as meditation. That's totally understood, and it's totally understood. So what I wanted to say is that what got me to meditation, I never really was religious. My parents are religious.
See,
in the way.
Akash, there is a lot of confusions in each word what you are saying.
Okay.
You said, I follow meditation. I was never in religious. Meditation has nothing to do with religion.
Right.
Okay. The spirituality and religion is entirely different. So the words which you are using will tell you, you never got a formal, probably a knowledge from somebody who knows.
Right.
You learned something. Learning something is entirely different from knowing.
So I'll just tell you how I got into this. Is that when I was in college, I finally wanted to understand everything from a scientific perspective. I didn't want to meditate for hours and like it's quantity and not quality. So what I did was just sit down and meditate and focus on my breath. And what I was looking to ask you is, there's this beautiful quote by Swami Vivekananda, which says that an hour of meditation, an hour of playing football is much better than an entire day of meditation. And that is my belief, right? And as you said, I'm really happy that you first of all cleared the misconception about meditation, right? So this is my same understanding, because when I'm playing football, I have to be conscious in the present moment who's passing the ball to me, what is in front of me, where I am right now. I have to see all these variables and still make a decision as to how to go ahead. That's basically pretty much everything that life is.
I will give you one maybe better example what Vivekananda spoke. If somebody has to learn meditation in 1 minute, put him in water for some time and then don't allow him to breathe. And then when you take it out to think, ask him what you were thinking that time. That's meditation.
I think somewhat similar happened to me when I went to Rishikesh. When you're put in the water, I didn't know how to swim. I'm rafting there. Thank God there was life jacket, but still you get scared. And then you're like, wow. Sir, so again, what I wanted to tell you is that I wanted to understand, so I'm someone who's very aspirational, who wants to do things in life, right? So I wanted to understand is that I am an instrument. Now, when you are a computer, you have to make sure the computer is refined. Only then you can get your output, right? If your computer does not have the latest operating system or whatever, no matter how much you put effort into it, it won't happen. The same thing with human beings, we don't understand that. First of all, you need to work on yourself, right? The faculties that you have, enrich them and get to a level where, you look at something, you're able to process that information. In that manner, when I was meditating, right, I think after that in 2011, I haven't had that sort of experience again, right? It gives you, I had that touch. Once you get that touch, no matter what happens in your life, you will not be able to forget that experience, and that will be the biggest experience in my life ever, right? So, what I wanted to tell you was that later on I started understanding, right, say how the brain works, right? For that matter, the neural connections and the synapses and things like that. My question is, now when I was checking for the information processing, right, the amount of synapses that we can have can reach into billions into trillions, right? And the information capacity that we have for our memory, it's into petabytes. So what I want to understand, sir, is that when a meditator is doing meditation, right? Again, as you said, it's not the amount of us, but the state of mind that. Now, when we have such a state of mind, anyone who has such a state of mind, so they are able to use their mind to the fullest, right? That's how they are able to grasp so many things. That's how it works, right? You are able to fully use your brain, utilize the capacity.
See, when we have to respond to some questions, or maybe when I have to drive, when I have to do something new, I need to think about it. Will you be able to do that without straining your brain? That itself is meditation.
Okay.
See, when your mother is making chapati or dosha, or maybe some expert driver is driving, he is not even conscious about what is he doing, unconsciously does. Right? So you become an expert in, or maybe so easily you can do that, your brain is not taxed. Your brain vibration becomes nil.
Absolutely.
That state of mind, if you can do it, you are not taxed. Therefore, you don't become tired. Right. That's like a singer is singing. In the beginning, when he is learning singing, he exerts. But there are few people without any exercise, they can just sing a song.
Right.
So they are tuned for that. So there are some people tuned for that. So it needs some sort of a setup of mind which understand things very fast. They are able to put see, it is not that words which you use. I am able to convey what I want to you. But doesn't mean if I am not able to convey, I am a failure. You can sit beside me, probably you understand what I mean. Got it?
Got it.
So sometime I must not have spoken anything to my guru, but when I am sitting beside, yes, I get it. Brahmasri KPC Anijan Patadripad is my guru on the Vedic. Where we travel together, we don't speak, but we understand a lot of things together, right? Right. So there are a bigger concept than communicating, putting examination writing, probably you'll have to write it. But that is not what is required, right? In the world. And being an IAS, you are going to be the custodian of the revenue in that district. We have 770 districts, 773 districts in India. Right? So if 773 districts is India, it is 773 people, individuals owning India as a revenue officer. So you are one among them. And it is that resource which you have which gives you the power as a district collector.
Right.
Got it? So it's a great job. Provided you know how to handle that revenue. You know how to, they are called Indian Administrative Service. You can administer. Administer is, you can pull resources. Government has got a lot of money to be invested for a better life in these 1,000 districts. You can imagine if 1,000 people become good in India, India becomes the best country in the world.
Right.
But we don't have, those 1,000 collectors are not very good because they have to listen to another 5,000 people who are on top of them.
So there's that saying by Swami Vivekananda, right? If you give me 100 people, I'll change the
That's
world.
good enough.
But you wouldn't find those 100 people.
Yeah, but what I'm looking for is, I'll tell you, if you are very serious about doing things and you know good marketing, I have a great projects like this. No, if I can get into every district and get 100 people. Vivekananda said 100 people, but he could not even make one. But Ramakrishna was great. He made one Vivekananda. Understood? So, aspiration of Vivekananda is great, but he couldn't make one another Vivekananda in his life.
Yes, yes.
Understood? So, I am not looking for one person in the district. If I can make 10 people in every district in India, 10,000 people are good enough. India will become the best country.
Right.
So, that sort of a movement is what I believe. So, I have got a lot of such small activities. Probably, you have something as a dream, you have something to in your capacity to make people to convince, but that is not marketed well. Like a soap is very fragrant, but you don't put a cover on, then put it in the nice place in the shop, nobody will buy it. So it needs to be, maybe if that is what is to happen, it will happen. That's it. See,
Right.
you landed upon me accidentally, right? So most of the people who come to me on conversation is like that. They just accidentally come and then meet me. That's what happens.
Right. So this is very interesting, the project that you're talking about. Right. From my standpoint, I'm someone who believes in. It might just be a very romantic, idealistic thought, but this is what I've grown up with. I think this is courtesy my parents, right? That I believe in equality, and I believe that everyone should have those resources, and there should be like justice. There should be like kindness to people. It should not be that, although we live in a very, very capitalistic world right now, right? But yet I would want to see a very socialistic. At the same time, it just cannot be a socialistic dream which has no foundations at all. Right? Where later on it will lead to progress. So this is very interesting, sir. I would love to know for the projects that you're doing.
Now you can, if you're really interested in the religious concept,
I'll tell you something, sir.
no, religious concept and the spiritual concepts, you can listen to my Bhagavad Gita. There is a tidbits of Bhagavad Gita. That means only very interesting slokas. There is a fast forward Bhagavad Gita, very few slokas from each chapter. There is another playlist which every sloka is being interpreted. And those interpretations could be entirely different from what you hear from many other people. Right? Because it's mostly like question answers. Maybe probably I'll spend half an hour or 1 hour to discuss myself and then another 1 hour on discussions. That's how I deal all my sessions. So you could listen to them, and whenever you landed upon any of these videos, just put a comment there. So that I know, oh, this person is looking at it,
Absolutely.
And maybe some link at the end will be there which connects to the next. You can just look at them and then make a comment. That's what it is.
So, since you mentioned this project that you have, right now, again, this got me really excited. Right, as I was telling you, it's not about the title. It's not about, say, tomorrow I'll get a really good-looking girl for marriage after I become IAS. That's not at all my dream, right? Because if you are touched by that, by that love for knowledge and that meditation or whatever it is, right, you don't care about anything else. That itself is glory for you. So, again, coming back to the point now, mind, body, and soul, right? So, what I feel sometimes, or maybe this is my lack of knowledge, right, is that someone who is, say, an IAS will only look at say the knowledge aspect, right? They will not cultivate their body for that matter, right? They will not. So I am someone who wants to cultivate every aspect that there is available to me. So with that said, now let me just give you a short example. I don't want to take too much of your time, but since like more than the UPSC topic, I connected with you as a person more than anything else, and that I think is very, very special to me, right? So. I wanted to running, right? I want to run swim cycle, right? That's a triathlon thing. Now, I don't come from a background which is very rich at all, right? We just get by, very middle class, right? But I've never considered or, seen people in terms of money or myself. I never judged, because if you know greater things in life, then money is like bullshit for you. So anyway, coming back to what my point was, is that when we talk about the body, right? So if you look at the people who run in Kenya, apparently, right, they master marathons. So what is said about them, if I'm not wrong again here, is that they run on higher altitudes. So their oxygen the oxygen reception that they have is very low. So when they come down to lower altitudes, for them it is a bonus oxygen, right? So now let me take you to breathing, right? When we meditate, Swami Rama has this beautiful book called the Science of Breathing, if I'm not wrong, right? The Science of Breathing. Now, in that, he has given you in detail in terms of biology also how we are very, very inefficiently breathing right now, right? So tomorrow there is also a book called Breath by James Nestor. Again, he's talking about breathing, right? And I have not completed yet, but every page is a gem, right? And I'm so happy he's giving the due credits to wherever it has to go. So what I'm saying is, when I look at meditation, it's just not that, hey, you know what, I'm getting a high. But instead, what can you apply it to, right? It's just the same thought that I would have to UPSC, right? So I'm saying is that the amount of effort that we put in into breathing and its output is not really symmetric. The effort is a lot, but the output is very less. Imagine today, I'm able to, get that output. Now, that was not just in terms of focus, in terms of learning, in terms of communicating better, in terms of shaping my thoughts better, but also the physical aspect. Now, when I'm trying to run right, my breathing will be much better, and it would be maybe I would also get an advantage as the Kenyans would get, running on a high altitude. So, with all that said, now when we are trying to take this to say 100 people in every district, right? So now, when I'm talking about getting an individual to go on to get with us, right? Subscribe to a philosophy? Not subscribe, but I'm just saying for the lack of better word. Now I cannot say to Akash that look, you know what, Akash, why don't you get into say really stupid music, pop music, which is running right now? Because I don't like it. I have better things to do. But we have to go to people and see what they like and customize our product in the way that they would feel attracted. And later on, when you show them the right path, automatically they'll get there. Because right now, they're not exposed to it. Right? So this is how I function. If someone talks about sports, how can I know with my meditation knowledge or whatever, like very little I have, right? How can I offer them that with respect to sports? And I feel our scriptures, for that matter, our meditation, for that matter, right, covers everything out there. It is just that we, as people, have to see the connections. And that's where I think your project is fabulous, sir. This is a lovely meeting today. I can frankly tell that, sir.
Good. Nicely summed up.
Yeah. So, sir, I will go through the videos that you've told me to go through. That's one. Second thing is the brilliant aspect that you told me, because there are people who say that, read so many books and you will be done for UPSC. I find that to be utter bullshit again, because if you know your basics, right, then you can master anything, right? So now, as you told me, 6th to 10th grade, right, I have got a few books, I'll start working on them. Apart from that, so as you're telling me, like, I can check out the videos that you have again on UPSC. I'll check that out, because again, I don't want to waste your time, because
you can also look at trigonometry, DrTPS, geography, DrTPS, history, so most of the bit by bit, small portions, how do you learn history is also explained. So that technique will help you to remember things and dates and such things, right? Maybe physics, DrTPS, then chemistry, DrTPS. So you will know, this is how physics have to be understood. This is how electromagnetism has to be understood. All of them may be in that UPSC same list.
Got it, sir. So I'll check your resources, and I will get in touch with you, say whenever you have the time, maybe we can get on a Google Meet again. Yeah. So first of all, sir, I would say I literally connected with you as a person. Now, with this book on Swami Rama, I read it, I think, almost 6-7 years ago. And when I meditate, right, it's just 4-5 people. I don't care about who's coming or who's not coming. The only thing is that when these other people are there, there's that force on you to meditate regularly. Otherwise, that discipline doesn't come. So I keep suggesting the book of Living with the Himalayan Master. There's also Walking with the Himalayan Masters, who's Julian O'Brien or something his name is, right? So I find that to be not that great compared to the biography, right? And you're the first person that I'm coming across who knows something about it, and not just that, you are a disciple of that order. Because otherwise, all your popular gurus are saying...
No, I am Swami Rama's disciple is Mahamandaleshwar Swami Vedabharati. So, okay. Mahamandaleshwar Swami Vedabharati is my person to whom I used to interact. He is also no more. He left 2 years back.
So, but this is exciting. So, because I suggest this book to every person, because I see life as an adventure. Now, if you read his book, right, as he grew up, he was a naughty kid. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want a boring guy who's lived this world, right? You want adventure. He was a naughty kid and he traveled across Uttarakhand, right? And you see the literal pictures, Dev Prayag, Alaknanda. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And you know what? He's this kid who is making mistakes, and his master comes there to teach him, right? And he's not perfect. That's the beautiful part, and he is happily not perfect. He's not sad about life. And to find you to do something in that, right? Like to be associated with that, I think this is beautiful, and I think that is the highest point of connection for me today. Secondly, yes, UPSC is something which it is given a name is what I feel. Rather, it's a body of knowledge which you can learn, and to give it a convenient name, you call it UPSC IAS learning or whatever. I'm totally in for this, sir, and I will go through your videos. Again, you have many things to do, so I will not waste your time. But I just want to express this because this has been a beautiful conversation, and again, sir, I will keep in touch with you when I have these questions around meditation, and also which you told me about the project now. I feel this is exciting, right? Because you can literally now with the power of social media, right? That is amazing. That's one thing. Second thing, now I would say, why would you want me on this project ever, right? Let me just ridicule myself, right? Who am I really to contribute anything to this, right? So to bring value to this, I would want to say is that I'm good at marketing, number one. I'm saying humbly. I'm not saying that I'm great.
I'll tell you, Akash, very clearly. If somebody refers Akash's name and say that, yeah, Akash told me about this video and I landed upon that. That one person does it is good enough.
नहीं sir, मगर the thing is that when I say something, right, I want to be able to add value. ऐसे नहीं मुंह पे बोल दिया और बात मतलब I don't want to do lip service, right? That's what I mean to say. Now, if you're telling me about this project, right, as you said, right, now you could have just like let it go, but instead you called me on a video call to understand who I really am. I'm maybe that sort of a person. Now, in today's world, people are really fake and they move, they're fickle and all that, right? But for me, at the end of the day, it nourishes your heart when you have that genuine bonding, right? And the lesser you have genuine bonding, the more you have anxiety and all of those kind of issues. So what I'm saying is that this is a wonderful project, and what I can bring to the table is to be able to, as I told you now, if there are 100 different people that we are catering to in a particular district, each will have a different aspiration. Each will have a distinct aspiration, and how to connect their aspiration with us is where I can really come into picture. Because when you talk about, say, movies, when you talk about, say, music, when you talk about, say, science for that matter, anything for that matter, I would have some understanding.
See, I'll tell you, Akash, there is no point in saying that everywhere the music is same, everybody loves music, it's easy to connect to people through music. But you can see DrTPS music. What I have done is I've connected to maybe 50 country people together to teach different musics of at least 2 lines of Kerala music, Andhra music to different people in Brazil, Japan, Africa. Africa people came onto my platform and then started teaching music. When I was in US, what I did is I made people, that was in September, October time. So Gandhi Jayanti time, I made them to sing Gujarati music, Bangla music, Kashmiri music, Kerala music, and Hindi and Sanskrit. 6 different languages. The local American people learned from me, and then we put it onto a stage. When it comes to maybe the last program which I had is a huge program. 300 people came to my place where I'm living, and we had a big festival of how to propagate summer drinks. There is no point in saying that this drink is good for summer, this drink is good for summer. So what we did was 8 different variety of summer drinks, and then some snacks were distributed to 300 people on the ground, and taught and made descriptions, and then about sharing that knowledge practically is what I believe. Got it?
So when you say, this is again a very interesting, because as you said, right, it's the concept that matters, right? When you kept stressing that if it is electromagnetism, it's not just knowing electromagnetism, but the concept behind it.
Yeah.
Now, when you're saying, say you go online and you say summer drinks, we have so many pages, but the problem is how do you fit it into a lifestyle? And when you use the word propagate here, it's about, in a way, somehow finding a way to just put it into your life, right? You don't have to later go and say that, hey, I have to make a conscious effort to drink a summer drink. Instead, it's like now, like
experiencing. See, that is what is meant by experiencing, because you are drinking it.
Right.
You are seeing it physically in front of you. You are seeing all the ingredients around you. That's what I
So
did.
I would say again, not just in terms of you, who you are as a person, but I think I connected with your thought set. I think it's very similar because I believe more in terms of experience than in terms of say knowledge or in terms of talking, because we have 7.2 billion people or 6 billion people on this planet. Everyone is talking, but who is really being able to communicate? That's the issue. So perfect, sir. I really love this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. We'll drop off then, sir.